Hello, and welcome back to the Awakening Philosophy Podcast. My name is Jed, and we are in the Sock and Jesus, a Dialogue in Heaven book, which is also, according to the story, is a play that souls who have passed away get to experience in heaven, starting from the beginning for everyone, wherever they come in. We are benefiting from it. What would a conversation be between the big JC, pretty influential fellow on humanity and on us, whether we like it or not, and Socrates, someone who has been called the father of Western thought? Everything since Socrates is but a footnote to Socrates, and yet someone who we haven't been able to actually hear the words of for 2,500 years. So how can somebody who's considered so wise and considered to be perhaps the best mind to ever to walk the planet, how can it be that we haven't been able to actually listen to anything he's had to say for over 2,000 years? And how cool is it that we can listen to him now in this book, and also because of the work of the author? So that's one of the big themes of this book. The idea that human beings are not robots. As a new truth comes to light in the evolving nature of life, our job is to respond to it in the best possible way, learn from it, and develop into a higher state of being. That's evolution. The species who don't do that go extinct. So that's where we are in humanity. We're at a turning point between extinction and evolution. And what is that which is evolving? The logos, the understandable paradigm of understanding itself is the logos. That's what is unfolding, and that's what we are doing our best to participate in as best we can. So what's the issue? Well, we killed Socrates, which is a metaphor for the fact that human beings don't respond positively to new understanding. That's the human problem. The nature of the human problem is we are fiercely loyal to the beliefs that we grew up with and the associated image of the self that we identify so strongly with that as we dream about the image, we think it's us. It becomes our identity, our mask, our way of being and talking and relating to other people. And along with that belief and image comes a role within the family clan. Belief, as we've been learning from the book, isn't neutral. It specifically functions in opposition to the understanding and the unfolding of the logos, which is why it's the cause of our individual problems and the cause of problems themselves. Isn't that neat? We can understand the in one word, the pathologos belief, the nature of human problems, and in one word, the unfolding self-logos, the nature of excellence and what's needed to solve beliefs. Because while understanding is while belief is about clan identity, causing wars between different believers, what does this politician believe versus what does that politician believe? Do you believe in torture like Dick Cheney, who got to be the ruler of America? Or do you believe in not torturing people and helping people like Zohan Mamdani? Did I say it right? Dear God, I hope I have. Everyone's been mispronouncing his name. So, in other words, there are some terrible, terrible beliefs, but beliefs themselves are in conflict with each other, while understanding can even understand belief. In fact, you can understand all of the different ways of thinking and stages of human development as we participate as best we can in the unfolding self-logos. So, understanding is good, belief is bad. It's just that simple. So what we have been doing in this text is learning how to ourselves participate in understanding by learning how to understand this book. How do we read this book without projecting our beliefs onto what's there, or having blind spots making us leave out what's there in the text, to read or see without interpretation. That's what we've been learning to do, while also reading a book that kicks ass and states clearly and simply, in a way that we don't believe but we can understand for ourselves rationally through stages of reasoning called the dialectic, that will always be true, universal principles that be universal, the meaning of life. Holy fuck. What a book. Makes me laugh. Because how significant that is compared to how few followers I have on my YouTube and Twitch. But in saying that, I do appreciate anybody who does watch these videos and support the channel. I very much appreciate it. Even if a few people are interested, that's still better than no people being interested. So, if there is an unfolding logos and Socrates, the father of Western thought, all is but a footnote to Socrates. These are the famous names given to Socrates. If he shared with us the dialectic, which allows us to A, systematically uncover and remove our pathologos beliefs, and B, traverse along the self-logos to A, reach this stage of understanding, which is also a meditation that prepares you for knowledge, which is a kind of balloons, separation of the soul from the body to experience the self-logos and mind directly, more balloons, and A, B, and C, and finally, even apply that understanding to that highest enlightenment experience to recognize there must be something beyond it that's having the experience and the cause of the experience, what we're calling the first cause and the final cause, our goal, the self. So that's the significance of the dialectic. And as we are all souls within that process to those goals, through that evolution through the unfolding of the self-logos, we can also say, hey, by the way, doesn't every human being have a problem? Then don't we all benefit by understanding and mastering the dialectic? If we don't, do we just play out our life becoming more entrenched in that false identity, functioning in an unjust way, which has an effect on our negative effect on our reincarnation after we die? Therefore, anybody who wants to avoid the bad in all possible ways and reach the good, their job too is to master the dialectic. Meaning, it's the meaning of life for everyone. For all people who have reached the stage of self-reflection and language. Why? Because language allows us to see and participate in the logos, and self-reflection allows us to apply it to ourselves. To reach our own understanding, free us from our own beliefs, reach our own state of knowing the self as mind, and to finally recognize the self beyond even that. Isn't that neat? Now, recently we've been talking about what the nature of self-reflection is in itself. The Greek word for it is ousia, and I know it's weird that it's a Greek word. We don't have an English word for it. Now, also there's a huge internet beef that's going on with Emma from the Majority Report, this lady.
It's a total shit show.
She's being a total shit show right now because she has the awfulest Twitch moderators who've banned me from her Twitch chat. Can you believe it?
That's weird that you think that.
That's weird that she even does that. It's a huge beef right now with Emma. Gigantic. Breaking the internet, some say. Me, I say that.
I think it's awesome.
Yes. Well, some people like it for the drama. And one of the reasons why is because when Emma and Sam was crying out, if only there was a principle that the Democrats could have that universally applies. Some sort of tent pole that's lacking, because no one likes the Democrats, which has allowed for fascism of the right wing to take over. If only there was such a principle. And I posted in chat, oh yes, that's neat that you're looking for that. By the way, the name for it is the Logos. And some bitch-ass Twitch moderator banned me without any sort of conversation or dialogue. I'm permanently banned, not a temporary ban or timeout. Permanently. Can you fucking believe it?
If you're experiencing a mental health episode, we don't want to have to see that.
Is what I am thinking about the Twitch moderators.
Please end kink shaming on your show.
Yeah, maybe that too.
That's weird that you think that.
Yeah,
It's a little odd, you know.
it's a bit odd. So huge Twitch drama. With two of the best content creators on the platform. Emma Vigeland from the Majority Report and me. Huge beef. Lots and lots of drama. So, hopefully that will be resolved one day. Otherwise, I will refuse to go on their show unless they permanently unban me. If I've been permanently banned, I should get compensated by a permanent unban. I get to say whatever I want. And only then will I accept an invitation should I be offered one by Emma. And she will say,
I'm too pure.
I'm too pure. And then she'll say,
The primary purpose of pools is not to murder. It is for enjoyment and cooling off.
and I will agree with her because she's right, as she is right about a lot of things. So, last time we reflected on, should I not have been banned by such a crazy, insane, drunk with power, gooner, incel Twitch moderator, what would I be able to communicate to Emma that would help them out? And can we understand that kind of functioning within its own, as Sam and Emma are looking for, paradigm? Is there a paradigm for helping share what we've been learning about the self-logos to other souls who are also in this game of self-development, whether they know it or not? In other words, how can we function in an excellent and just way? And the Greek word for that, to function with care, benefit, and intelligence, is providence, the functioning of the self. And we can have a clue into why it's the functioning of the self, because if those 3 stages of learning that we're here to do, understanding, which I could help them with, and that's part of what I was trying to share because they were ready for it. Knowing, which is the paradigm itself, which understanding is based on and justice is based on. But providence means prior to vision. Providence is Greek, meaning it's a kind of vision that is prior to even mind. Meaning it's a kind of functioning of the self. How can we be most providential to ourselves and to our fellow man and participate in the providence of reality? That's our question. Our model for doing so is currently, well, Socrates for one, and how he's talking with Jesus, but also our dream master. How does our dream master function providentially to us in the creation of our dreams? What must the dream master know in order to function in a providential way? And how can we participate in that providence and not be like Emma, going drunk with power and going crazy, appointing the weirdest Twitch moderators in the world because she's gone crazy with her celebrity and fame? She's saying,
They're completely lying to you. They're completely lying.
that's what I'm saying.
I think it's awesome.
Well, I don't think it's awesome.
It's sad. And I'm sad
Yes.
for you.
I'm sad for them. So how do we instead be, well, the word that Socrates uses is charm, or solid geometry is the study for how to be this way. How do we act with charm or grace in listening? How do we listen to the providence being extended to us in our dreams specifically? And how can we reflect on not only that benefit, but the nature of the dream master to take that as a model for how we can be providential ourselves. It's a win-win.
Win, 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 win.
Yes, always winning. So, with that in mind, we are recognizing that as this is the model or paradigm for not only progressives, that Emma and Sam of the Majority Report have been gagging for months. So I thought it might be the right time to share the word, only the Twitch moderators said no because they are fucked in the head. And they should be banned from Twitch. I don't believe that they should be Twitch moderating anymore. It's insane. And I think Emma's gone insane to appoint them. This is a huge beef right now on the internet. Content creators going crazy. On her part, I'm the sane one. I'm the right one.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So, language and ousia. What the heck is ousia? Ousia, we have been learning, we've been reading, is the name, and like logos, don't freak out. Don't be a crazy Emma moderator and freak out because it's a Greek word. Croissant is a French word. Do you freak out when you hear that? Do you get all weird about it because you have prejudice against the French? I should hope not. You'll miss out on a tasty croissant. Now, even more tasty than a croissant is an understanding of ousia. Ousia, as we've been learning, is the name for the nature of mind itself. The mind that we have as we participate through soul in a body, but also mind itself as that experience of the paradigm or model that we're seeking. Now, I seem to be a little bit quiet. Can I sneakily bump up my volume a little bit? Maybe there. How's that? I hope it's not too crunchy. I hope it's loud enough and not too crunchy. Ousia. Now, ousia has been defined as having, so far, two qualities. Nature. It's the nature of mind. It's the essence of mind and mind itself. Well, mind itself and individual minds. But it's also an activity. So, to be to prepare ourselves for the experience of ousia itself, we have to be like ousia. In other words, we have to be self-reflecting, because ousia is the nature of mind, but it's also the activity of turning about upon oneself. Now, we know that the most ignorant and harmful people are motivated by shiny shapes and colors, focused outwardly in the world. We need to learn that these are images, or as Socrates puts it, shadows that reflect ideas. The ideas we carry. In other words, we project our false beliefs into the world, causing a self-fulfilling prophecy, playing out the implications of our false idea of the self, causing our problems. Therefore, the dialectic applied to tracing back our dramas and problems to the root cause, our state of mind, and behind that an image of the self, is a necessary activity called philosophical midwifery. A self-reflection. But once we've freed from that, we can turn our attention away from shapes and colors to the ideas themselves. What is the nature of reality? If my image of truth and beauty is wrong, what is the nature of truth and beauty? What is that tent pole or universal paradigm that's understandable and beneficial to everyone that the left or the progressives must have to be politicians? So we're turning away or turning back upon the nature of mind itself, because that's where the principles live. Our mind is the same nature, ousia, as mind itself. And if principles are by definition universal and universally applied to the physical world, they must first themselves not be physical for it to have an effect over the physical world or scope over the physical world. So by usia-ing, reflecting on the nature of principles, ideas, we are effectively turning upon ourselves. Therefore, the dialectic in philosophy is a self-reflection, because the dialectic can either be applied to those qualities of pure mind that exist, principles, causes, beauty, justice, whole, part, same, different, what we call these selfers, the individual aspects of the self logos, or it can be applied as Parmenides, Socrates' teacher, applied it to what is even beyond that. So, just as the principles that apply to the physical world must transcend the physical world to have a scope over them, you never see 1 and 1 equals 2, you never see parts and wholes, you never see beauty and justice. As a noun, you only see its effect as adjectives, meaning the thing itself must have a prior existence, must have a power that doesn't diminish so it can continue this, and must have some kind of activity in its generation of beautiful or just things or anything we perceive in the physical world. Now we can say that because the book has outlined for us this triad of all existing things. Has to have an existence, has to have a power, has to have an activity. That's a fundamental triad. Everything has those things that exist. And that principle of it being prior to what it has scope over also applies to its cause. Whatever causes mind, self, must itself be prior to, transcendent of, causal of, independent of, and have scope over being. That's the movement from, let's draw it on the board. We're on a new board because there's so much on the previous board that we rent that it was taking too long to load up. The world of becoming, the world of being, which is also mind, and of course that which is causal and has scope over yet transcends, the self, the one self from Parmenides, or the good self from Plato, from Socrates in the Republic. Okay, so that's our movement, and on the table we have some questions that we can develop. How in the shit can the self be the cause of being if it's transcendent and if it's independent and transcendent from all qualities? How can it be the cause of the best qualities, those things we call the selfers, which are the aspects, or eidos, mistranslated for the last a few thousand years as forms, or at least at school, eidos, justice, beauty, truth, and the pairs whole and part, same and different, etc. So these are the things we reflect on ousia in the activity of ousia, dialectic, making the dialectic our excellence in the world of becoming, our excellence being understanding, or the dialectic the following of the self logos through parts and time. So through parts and time, whereas the self logos experienced as a whole self logos through parts and time, whereas in pure being we have the self logos experienced as a whole and eternally, so out of time or eternal, which means we're after the self logos that transcends understanding and knowing, or understanding and experience. So we want to know, in what way is the self logos experienced or known beyond experience or knowing? That's our ultimate goal. So how does the self logos, somehow inherent in the one self or the good self, generate the world of being? That's the first question. How does the world of being, or ousia, which has ousia as its nature, its mind turning about upon itself, so we can say that's ousia as its nature of mind, its nature, also its activity, and it also, because there are three parts, there needs to be power for it to do it. This one. Anything that exists has to have a kind of existence. And you could also put rulership or model, some sort of power to do what it does, and sort of activity to employ that power. Activity. So, what is the kind of existence of the self? What kind of power has it? And what kind of activity does it engage in? So that we can know the self logos. So we, there are people who've had an encounter with the one self and they don't have a self logos, like Buddhists, and they say the nature of reality is ultimately emptiness because it's transcendent of qualities. Because they don't understand. They can't recognize what's there to be seen. They haven't done their job. Their job of gaining excellence in the physical world. And it's no coincidence that those sorts of people who put in a lot of effort and focus and discipline in their meditation to have an experience of or encounter of the one self, it's no coincidence that they are often told the physical world is illusion or maya or fantasy, and let it drift away like a cloud in your meditation. Meaning they are neglecting the excellence of what we are here to learn as the reason for our reincarnation. Understanding. Understanding. That includes understanding their meditation, understanding what blocks their meditation, because that dialectic can be applied to remove our beliefs and images from the physical world that cause our problems and blocks, including your problems and blocks to meditation. So we need to bring, that's therefore they're doing a kind of meditation that's incomplete. It lacks the logos. That's not a value judgment or a personal opinion or belief. Opinion in there. That's a fact. In other words, you can take everything they do, focused attention, wonder, sometimes they even have a question or a koan, and they're focused either on the nature of reality or that which is beyond reality. So they're focusing on the right kinds of things. You take all of those qualities, find the best monk doing all of them, and you can add the logos, meaning you can add an improvement. Hey, everything +1, meaning it's a bit better. That's important because therefore they're not fully engaging in the paradigm. Sam and Emma from the Majority Report. Huge beef with them right now.
That one's perfect and exactly the case.
Thank you, Emma. So, how does somehow the logos of the oneself that we need to recognize and experience cause the world of being, which is described in the highest positives: self-justice, self-beauty, self-truth, which is why we call them the selfers, and it's experienced as the self-logos as a whole or eternity. How the fuck does that cause the physical world, where we experience the self-logos through parts, through time, and we even get our own creation? Just as pure mind causes becoming, so too do human beings cause sickness. Non-being, your false image of yourself, your false beliefs about self and reality, and the dumbass opinions that you carry and you get attached to, that cause your problems and blocks. We have to therefore apply our understanding to surfacing and removing our problems, and replacing belief-based cognition with understanding-based cognition, which allows us to function as a hero like Hercules in the world of Hades, because Hades is a story where people play out their shadows and their problems until they flitter out because they don't have being. So eventually they play out their energy, they spin out. One day no one will know who the fuck Trump was, thank God, because his false image and belief and role and functioning is not real. It's from his upbringing and his false identity that he has never reflected on. So in other words, what we see described in mythology in Hades is what we experience here. In other words, if we die and come back around in reincarnation, and we carry with us everything we've been learning and nurturing in our life, our false beliefs and images, we bring back with us our conditions for hell. Hell is what we project and experience in Earth, in our reincarnation. Not hard to see, considering how much fucking injustice is all pervasive in our physical world. The stupidest, most ignorant people are in charge. In particular, billionaires who can play out their false beliefs on others, or the universalization of personal beliefs by saying God says so, religion, or the law says so, politics. In other words, all of these people lack the true paradigm of the self-logos, which is mind itself, or being, which you can experience the model as a whole and understand its parts. Like any other profession, a doctor has to have an image at least of the ideal healthy body, and also have an understanding of his parts to be able to benefit the patients. Ain't no clergy benefiting the people. They are exploiting them for fame and power and money. Ain't no politician, except for Zoran Mamdani and AOC and Bernie are trying their best. Ain't no politician helping the people right now. They are exploiting them for fame and money and power. And the reason is what I tried to share with Emma and Sam from the Majority Report in Twitch before I got banned.
I've been a bad little girl.
Exactly.
Freaks.
You're freaks on
That's
Twitch.
anti-feminist in some way.
Exactly, they
Don't
are.
be disgusting.
And they're disgusting. Was, hey, this model that you're lacking and you're needing is the next stage in your learning. You've seen the problems playing out in beliefs. You are aching for a model. Here's what it is. It's called the self-logos. It's the essence of understanding in parts, and it's the model that you're looking for as a whole. You won't reach it unless you get rid of the Gestapo people in charge of your Twitch chat, but also you won't reach it unless you develop your understanding. Make conclusions. And we went through that yesterday. A big ass stream and video on how we could, if we were the dream master or dream maker of Emma from the Majority Report, what could we share with her should she be receptive to it? And why it would be necessarily beneficial, relevant to the whole of what we're seeing in the soul's development, but also the part that Emma is in. Now, everything we've said here is nothing to do with opinions, beliefs, images, and problems and blocks, because none of these terms we are using apply to the physical world. I mean, they work in the physical world, but we're saying the whole, which is something here. It is an eternal aspect of being itself, recognizing the parts, the soul within the whole journey, but also the whole of what Emma needs to realize from the Majority Report and the part where she's at currently. Whole and part. Paradigm here, model. Justice here. None of this is opinions. Try and explain that to her ignorant, stupid Twitch moderators. Good luck. They'll ban you permanently without even saying anything. Huge beef with Emma right now.
You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a that's anti-feminist and some they're completely lying to you. Yeah. They're completely lying.
Yeah, they are. So, how does the self create mind? How does the mind create being? And what can we do as a part or as a soul to return? Those are the three big questions that we have. And of course, as we learn that, how can we share that with our fellow man? If Emma has been doing all this fantastic work up until her crazy Twitch moderators decided they were more important than Emma's development, can you imagine these people? What kind of imbeciles they must be?
Okay, go ahead.
It's sad. And I'm sad for you.
I'm sad for all of them. What the heck was I talking about? Yeah, sharing it. Because if the dialectic is our excellence through time, also the model of meditation or spiritual method, allowing us to experience this, allowing us to reflect on it, to recognize the parts or the self-ers, and reflect on its cause, the self, then what we're here to do is the dialectic. The dialectic has its applications to this movement towards the truth. Can't do it unless you're removing your false beliefs, so the true and the false. But what Socrates is pointing to now is, hey, you can't do either of those things properly unless you're also understanding your dreams, applying the dialectic to, without interpretation, unpacking your dreams, giving us 1, 2, and 3. And the fourth aspect of the dialectic is sharing it. And that's cool because the dialectic has 4 aspects. Dialectic has the subject in relation to itself, or definition. So our focus is on Usia. So either the self, what is the self? What can you talk about the one self in itself? which is the first hypothesis of Parmenides, or any of these things. What's beauty? What's beauty? What's justice? What's truth? Now, using the what you learn from these texts from Socrates or Pierre Grimes, two people who've mastered the logos, not your own opinions about what beauty is. How can you talk about beauty just in itself? Then can you talk about how beauty functions to some other? Self and other. Self or the subject. Now we can say it's self because these are the selfers, either the one self or self-being, self-beauty, self-justice. But we can also say subject, because it also starts with an S. Or another, that you're rubbing it up against to see how it functions. So how does it function or demonstrate? Demonstrate. How does beauty affect some other? Hey, you, as a philosopher, how does beauty affect the soul of a philosopher? Does it inspire us to participate in it? Awakening us to the quest that we're here for, philosophy, the dialectic? Demonstration. Having been affected by that, so you've defined the self, it rolls over, now it's affecting you. How do you, having been affected by beauty, then relate to Emma from the Majority Report? Provided she realizes that her Twitch moderators are out of control, they've gone crazy.
You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now?
That's what they need.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to find you. And I'm going to get you.
This is what Emma should say to them. How do you then relate to, another other? So other to others, that's division. So how do you relate to Emma? How do you relate to your partner? How do you relate to your work? Having been affected by beauty itself. Division. And then you have to synthesize those divisions. Synthesis. And then relate it back to the original definition. That's synthesis and analysis. And that stage is conclusion. What we wanted to say to Emma is they're very close to seeing the root causes of the problems they're facing. They're starting to notice that all of these ICE, Nazis, fascist, right-wingers have something in common, synthesis, that they can take back to the original definition. What's the cause of the problems that we are trying to solve politically as Emma's life's work? But she won't be able to come to that seeing unless she concludes. Conclusion is the last stage. Conclusion. And what is that conclusion? They're all believers. What's the conclusion about the problem of the establishment Democrats? They're also believers. They lack a model that's universal of principles that's understanding. So that's the stage of understanding where they're at. And we talked about how this inability to conclude is a big problem that Nathan Fielding is talking about in his latest Nathan For You or The Rehearsal. I think Nathan For You. I'll find it. I'll find it. All right, so it's Nathan Fielder. I apologize. In an interview, Nathan Fielder, full interview with CNN on aviation, brilliantly exposes the industry's failures. And it's an episode of The Rehearsal. Check that out. Season 1 is interesting as well. So he says, hey, by the way, there are these pilots who are crashing the plane, even though their co-pilot can see the issue, but they won't conclude because that conclusion will challenge the dearly held beliefs of their superior, and so people die. By the way, the head reporter I'm talking to right now in the CNN interview, I bet I bet the co-reporter, the less status female person, has a bunch of conclusions that she's not allowed to talk about that will challenge your beliefs. She said it right. He said it in the interview right to him. He's pretty good at what he does. Of all the comedians, he seems to be functioning at the highest level. Which is this. He's doing this. He's doing dialectic. He's helping people recognize the cause of our problems are our false beliefs and the solution is understanding, but he's presenting or demonstrating it in a way that we can see for ourselves and make the conclusions for ourselves. And when we see it and we laugh, that laughter or the joy can overcome our fierce loyalty to our ignorance. We can laugh about it. So humor, that's the role of humor in man's evolution. It has the potential to overcome our fierce loyalty to our ignorance when we cannot beat ourselves up or punish ourselves with sin or guilt or blame or hell or any of that religious bullshit or punitive justice bullshit under capitalism and fascism. No, you're not beating yourself, you're having a laugh at yourself. Have some fun. Where's the joy?
Where's the joy? Where's the whimsy? Where's the childlike
You're having joy and whimsy and childlike wonder, dude.
Where's the passion?
Passion and soul as well. So that's the role of humor. That's why the recent comedy Riyadh festival thing, where they said you can't talk about beliefs, you can't talk about religious beliefs or political beliefs, American comedians, was so fucking disgusting to all of their fans. A lot of them don't know why, or they're selling out, etc. And the comedians tried to make an argument, hey, I always sell out. America is even more fascist, so what are you talking? No, it's because your job is to point to the false beliefs that cause problems, lead us without letting the audience make the punchline or the conclusion of the new understanding and the absurdity of the former beliefs, because when we come to it for ourselves, it's our own understanding. We're not just believing you, but also that laughter can help overcome that fierce loyalty to human problems, to old beliefs, to the old way of being. I was a real dork when I thought that. Look at how I dressed. Look at what I was interested in when I was young. Don't cancel you or punish you for being wrong. No, have a laugh at it, so long as you can find the root beliefs and state of mind behind it. Ideally, behind that, the self-image too, and let that go for a new way of functioning from a new state of mind or perspective, ultimately letting go of that old image of the self and that old imitation of certainty or pretense of the knower. So you're not gaining a new image of the self, but you're purifying or removing all images associated with the self from a new state of mind, functioning through understanding. 3, 2, 1. Understanding, mind, self. Remember? Understanding the excellence in parts, the self-logos in parts, the excellence of our physical existence. What Buddhists neglect, what most or all spiritual traditions other than the dialectic or philosophy neglects. True Socratic philosophy, not mainstream Aristotelian philosophy. Aristotle rejects this. Understanding from a state of mind, and behind that, the self. So, if these are the stages in the dialectic, there are only 4. Oh, and by the way, you want to know what beauty is? You also have to say, hey, this is if beauty exists itself, beauty itself. But what happens if beauty didn't? What could you say about it? So you have to also do it for if exists, create that universe, and create a universe if beauty doesn't exist. If not exists. So what if beauty didn't exist? How would you define it? an image, a shadow, a con of evolution to get you to fuck the most fit women so your genes pass on, or whatever they teach you at Aristotelian, materialist, physical world only schools. That's all beauty is. It's a trick of evolution to get you to bang the hottest chicks. Bollocks. You know it's bollocks because the hottest chicks are not reflect a beauty that transcends their physical existence, because they have a beauty, a rare beauty of soul and mind. Good heart, good head. It makes them physically attractive too, in a way that's confusing for the ignorant and makes the stupid people hate them or weird about them. But it's not about physical evolution if it applies to this mind and soul and heart. Spam!
It is spam. They are trying to convince them to flood the internet with spam.
Flood the internet. Shall I flood the internet with spam, buddy?
It is spam. They are trying to convince the internet is all robots.
Yeah, you're a robot.
But you shut up. You shut the hell up for a second. You're not real.
You're not real.
He's an AI guy.
You're just an AI guy, Mr. Alternative Bumble, whatever. Banned.
You don't talk to me, you robot. Shut up.
Shut up, robot.
I'm a human. I don't listen to robots.
Don't listen to robots. Go away. And what was I talking about before spam came in?
Further fill the internet with spam and AI slop.
That's what you're doing. So yeah, so same 4 categories applying to what if doesn't exist. It's a dialectic. And so if that's our job here, to master this as an art, the excellence of the physical world, which is also learning and meditation and politics and true spirituality, then we can also say, hang on a second, can we do a dialectic on dialectic? In other words, if we're here to master the dialectic, and that mastership is understanding, we'll have to understand what we're here to master. Shouldn't we? Dialectic on dialectic. So we should be doing a dialectic on if exists and if not exists. We can say, in principle, what I was trying to communicate to Emma on the majority report before her crazy Nazi Twitch moderators permanently banned me without even saying anything to me.
If you're experiencing a mental, they're completely lying to you. They're completely lying.
Completely.
It's sad. And I'm sad for you.
I'm sad for you. Is what we could say about it. Well, we could do a dialectic. If it exists, the left. Or progressive. What we need to progress. It's what it means to be a progressive. This is in the political sphere. If the dialectic doesn't exist, you have fascists. Fascism. That applies to, but yeah, fascism. Or the left, in principle, if I get a permanent unban, which is what I will demand, otherwise I will not be on the majority report unless I get permanently unbanned, should write letters to your congressman. Or the right, which is the subject in itself, or a definition of what if the dialectic does or doesn't exist in the realm of politics. How does it function? Reason, step-by-step reflection, understanding, dialectic. So the activity of dialectic through understanding. What's the opposite? Belief through debate. Yelling your opinions at each other, no one learning, no one benefiting, just slop.
That's weird that you think that. Whore.
Slop.
It's sad. And I'm sad. Don't be disgusting.
Don't be
disgusting. I'm so disgusted.
Disgusting slop.
Please end kink shaming on your show.
I can't. I must. Debate. And you can keep going. Where does it end? The extinction of mankind. So I won't do the whole thing for you. Leave it for Emma to do. How does it function to others? How does it function to others? Banned on Twitch. Banned on Twitch. Huge beef with Emma on the Majority Report because of her Twitch right now. Huge. Breaking the internet. It's gone viral. So how does this functioning through beliefs that you use debate or power over? Some fascist jerk on Twitch bans me. And what does that lead to? No learning. And ultimately, what happens if we don't stop the right? Human extinction. So either permanently unban me from Twitch, otherwise human beings go extinct. Is the okay, I'm being a bit funny, but kind of not being funny. Someone who has an understanding of how to help people develop through their problems into the dialectic should talk to her. And as far as I know, there aren't many of us around. So unless you are going to get super lucky and have someone in Twitch. By the way, even if there was another dialectician trying to communicate to the Majority Report through Twitch, they're going to get banned too. Because it's the same, or they'll say the same thing, and the same Nazi Twitch moderator will ban them. It's crazy right now.
I think it's awesome.
No, it's
Oh
crazy.
boy, that is a little weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Weird. All right, so this would be a dialect. See, that's how you can use it. So you can step-by-step reason reflection on true principles if it doesn't exist and if it does exist. So the progressive left will have to understand this tent pole, to use Sam's word, or universal principle, to use Emma's words, that they're lacking, causing them to not fight back against a fascist because they need to understand it for themselves to recognize the principle they're after, the self-logos, but they also better fucking recognize the root causes of the fascism of the right. Because I'll let you know something, there are still Nazis. You can't shoot away human problems. In other words, World War I and II didn't solve the problem. We still have Nazis, and he happens to be the richest people in the world and the leader of America and the leader of Israel doing a genocide. Ironic, ain't it? It's not ironic, it's understandable. So, the dialectic will allow you to understand what you should be doing, or excellence, and how to address problems or pseudo-excellence, how to reach our destiny and escape fate, how to create justice and address injustice. It's both. There are two sides, if it exists and if it doesn't exist. We're doing a dialectic not in a specifically applied to politics, but the dialectic itself. So we could say, hey, what's the true? Or where do we get the definition? That's philosophy. True philosophy. Socratic philosophy. And we're saying Socratic philosophy because you do not learn this at school, Twitch moderators, Emma's Gestapos. Well, I was done when I did philosophy and that's stupid, so you're stupid. That's what they say. They're idiots. Because they don't recognize that it's not, even though I said it's not real philosophy. I don't care. I'm a Twitch moderator.
Whore.
Whore. So, to address what's false, or the greatest functioning, would be to remove what's false. That's philosophical midwifery. What we have been reading in the text up until now is to do both, or the divisions dream analysis. Understanding your dreams and understanding what must be the nature of the dream master. Non-interpretive. So not dream interpretation. In other words, it's a new art that we lost from Socrates, and it's our job to nail it down. That's part of the jobs of the long-term goals of the channel. Analysis. And hopefully as we continue to read, by recognizing the significance, the meaning of life is the dialectic, and it's one of the 4 aspects of it, then we're going to be super motivated and inspired to read the book and nail it down and have fun and share it with our friends. This one.
There's only 2 options. There's only 2 options at the end of an argument. 1, you're wrong.
But now you always get to be right about that topic going forward, so you get to learn something, which is always a plus. Or 2, you're right and you get to revel
in being right. So that's why it's important to have open dialogues and not just ban people. That's so this is why this drama is going viral on the internet. It wasn't that I was wrong, I happened to be right. But that's not the issue, whether I was right or wrong, doesn't matter. The point was I was banned, conversation was stopped. It's the fucking majority report. They're all about conversation and understanding and learning from experts. How many other experts in the dialectic are running around right now? Ain't none in Australia. Used to be one in America. Used to be one in Athens. Killed that guy. This is why the internet's gone crazy. It's broken right now. The internet's broken, maybe. Some are some are saying. I'm saying.
Well, you're doing your best.
Yeah.
The internet is all robots.
Yeah. Robots saying. Dialogue. Discussion. It's a conversation. Just banning people that you are confused by is fucking stupid. I won't go on the majority report until they get rid of that moderator for good. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Not for good. Just take away his moderating privileges. Give it to someone with half a brain. These are the people you associate with, Emma?
They're completely lying to you.
Yeah.
They're completely lying.
That's what I've been saying. So dream analysis. Required for both. And that's what we've been looking at. How do we unpack the dialectic of our dreams? Because the dream master uses the dialectic to communicate providentially to us, which means the dream master does the last thing, share. Conclusion. Synthesis and analysis. What do you do with your dream, with your master of the dialectic? The dream analysis shares it, giving us a mythology, a story or analogy that represents metaphysical principles so we should probably write that down too. This one. So mythology no, that color's not very nice, is it? Color. Let's go yellow again. Mythology. So this is from the text as well. Mythology is a personification, an analogy, demonstrating or representing, we should say, metaphysics, which is the realm of being. Metaphysics, P-H-Y-S-I-C-S, metaphysics, and principles of our soul's development. Not just the principles that exist. That question, how does self cause being? What is the nature of being? How does being cause the physical world? But also, how do we return? How do we reach our goal? So the principles of our development, which is also theology. Theology. To take theology literally, the Greeks called barbarianism. So, literalist, Jesus actually magicked to heaven, and magic happened, and problems are caused by magic beings that are sinister, or demons, yes, and the exorcist was real, and exorcisms, they're real too, and all of the bollocks that priests say while they oppress women and justify slavery and steal all the wealth, yes, everything they say is right. That's barbarianism. Theology is a mythology, a personification, an analogy representing metaphysics and the principles of our soul's development. That's what theology is. Oh my God. What a banger book that we are reading that outlines this for us. That's also what we have to do. So, another reason why I should be permanently unbanned forever, otherwise I just won't go on the majority report anymore. Because I was doing my best to share. Huge drama with Emma right now. Can we ever get over it? Or will the internet be broken forever?
You piece of shit, there's a robot.
It's a robot. So, the 4 aspects of the dialectic, which itself reflects the dialectic. You can do the opposite using the terms from the book. What if we don't have it? Aristotle's philosophy, materialism. No dialectic. Or even debate. What Socrates calls philodoxia, love of opinions, or philonikos, love of fighting. What we call the right, or the internet slop, or the griftosphere, or the Joe Rogan sphere, or the red pilled, or the manosphere. There's lots of names for it. It's love of your own bullshit ass opinions and fighting through debate. How do you solve problems or remove what's false? You don't. You punish people, and all that does is make people suffer. Dick Cheney passed away today. Someone known for torturing people. That's what punishment is and leads to. He was likely punished and tortured himself. Here he is imitating his own past lives and his parents, torturing other people terribly, disgustingly, and saying, and I'm right to do so because it was effective. Effective in fucking what, you monster? Sad he's passed away, so he can't be held to account and learn. So that's how you don't solve problems. And what does punishment teach you? Avoid getting caught. So the racists become billionaires, and the biggest grifters and Epstein Island participants become presidents. Netanyahu keeps saying to the Jews, you have to have me killing people because I'm the only one who can keep you safe. I think his whole campaign was, he's a bastard. He's the bastard that the Jews need right now. Avoid getting caught is all punishment teaches people. No understanding of dreams, of course. So how does it function for both? Just conflict, division, bloodshed, pages of human history soaked in blood. Since we have not listened to Socrates, we decided to murder him instead, and therefore no mythology. But thankfully, 2,000 years or more later, We have someone who has rediscovered philosophical midwifery through his work with solving alcoholism. Isn't that interesting? In the 60s. This is all written about in the Philosophical Midwifery book. Freed him from the imposition of his beliefs or what's false, allowing him to read Socrates and the Vedic scriptures and the Diamond Sutra and all the other texts. Very big reader. Saw his garage. It was packed full of books. I couldn't believe it. Holy shit, how did you get all these books? Like literally, like a regular, like American garage for a car and stuff. Floor to ceiling books. Insane. And then he had like more bookshelves inside. I was a fucking genius. Anyway, realized that Socrates was talking about this, realized that Homer was talking about this, able to learn this and this, and also he has the book we're reading now. So he's someone who's completed his work in the mastery of the dialectic, giving us this book, allowing us to put all these pieces together. The book's a fucking banger. Allowing us to learn what we need to do to share it ourselves with people like Emma from the Majority Report, should she get over her crazy beef with me and make me permanently unbanned. We can share it with those people because she's doing really, really good work. I joke a lot. We have fun here. See, we have fun here. But the whole reason why I was in that channel anyway and been watching for a very long time is she's good heart, good head. She's doing good work. Of course, she doesn't know everything. She has to learn this too, and she has blocks to overcome too. But it's someone like that who's likely to be most receptive. Someone who's not doing that and instead is a fucking Twitch moderator of the Majority Report, least likely. Stupid Twitch. Stupid.
But you shut up. You shut the hell up for a second. You don't talk to me, you robot. Shut up.
Robots.
It is spam. They are trying to convince them to flood the internet with spam.
So all they do is flood it with spam.
It's sad. And I'm sad,
Sad for you. So that's our job too, to share it. Everyone on this channel. However many people are watching, if you are a rare bird among those few. So that's where we are. We need to, we have been learning about the dialectic through this book and seeing it demonstrated by Socrates and seeing how all of the divisions it applies to in the arguments itself. From reading this book, hopefully we'll come to a conclusion about the functioning of Socrates and the author. But now we're at dream analysis. And by understanding dream analysis as a part of a whole, once again, parts and wholes, Emma, we can see the significance of what we're going to be reading now, dream analysis. And how it's a model for ourselves to function providentially, because we are asking, what must dream analysis have? It must have a mastery of the true. So our dream master must have a mastery of the true and must know the whole of spiritual development to recognize there must be a whole of spiritual development, which means there also must be a recognition of parts. Where are you currently? What stage? The stages of spiritual development, so they can recognize where you're at, so the Dream Master will present providentially what's most appropriate. Must have a whole of an understanding of states of mind. The conclusion that they are close to coming to is, hey, notice there's a certain state of mind that Trump has, and he aligns himself with cronies that have a similar state of mind. Notice that it's a state of mind reflected in MAGA parents. They are not listening to his functioning or his words. It's his state of mind that appeals to the MAGAs. Notice that there's a state of mind that all cops have, or especially all ICE members have, Nazi fascists have, that are kidnapping, murdering, raping, and disappearing people. They're all certain kind of towheads, and they're all cowards covering their faces, ganging up against the most vulnerable. They're all fucking bullies. Yes, we function through our states of mind, allowing us to trace back through a dialectic, a state of mind that has a demonstration in our functioning. So we'd have definition of state of mind, a functioning that plays out in divisions. So how we function plays out in the dramas that comes to a conclusion in either our successes or failures to reach the goal set out in the dream. This is used by the Dream Master. Emma, from the Majority Report,
I'm cute. Like, it's cutie pie.
who keeps telling us she's a cutie pie, is seeing, hey, I want successes and we're getting failures. And she's been spending the time on the Majority Report, her life's work, documenting the terrible functions and interviewing people who would function towards in a different way to get a success. She's establishing that there might be a paradigm of functioning, the left versus the right, progressive versus conserving false beliefs. Her next step is to go and recognize that the cause of functioning is states of mind. She can't do that unless she allows herself to conclude, which is why we referenced Nathan for you, because she's sitting next to Sam, who I believe has Jewish beliefs. I don't know what his beliefs are, but everyone has them. Emma has them, her family has them, her co-workers have them, and her boss has them. So if the root functioning, so state of mind, cognitive functioning would be a better, so definition, we could even say state of mind. Functioning is whether you're a believer or you function through understanding. Yeah, all beliefs. Even the ones that you are attached to, even the ones your boss is attached to, even your precious loved ones. States of mind is the cause behind it. You've got to be able to recognize states of mind as a whole, which means the Dream Master knows pure being, or the brilliant light of pure being. Because that's the state of mind, or the self-logos as a whole. It has to recognize parts or individual just my seat here. Individual states of mind. Because they are the root cause of our functioning. Has to know cognitive functions, as we're talking about. Why? Cognitive functions. Because our purpose, belief versus understanding in particular, etc. So our development includes our development through states of mind and cognitive functions. The Dream Master also mustn't have an awareness of, hey, if you're a doctor and you're prescribing a medicine for someone and you think it's going to work this week, but you're an alcoholic and the Super Bowl's coming up, even though he hasn't had a drink for a while, he's likely going to regress when the Super Bowl happens and he's going to start getting drunk. I better not prescribe him the medicine that's going to mixed poorly with alcohol, because I can recognize the whole of your life and also the parts or past. In the past, you drunk. In the present, you're fine and you can take this medicine, but I won't prescribe this medicine because in the future, there'll be the Super Bowl and you will get drunk and it will mix poorly with your medicine. I won't be a good doctor unless I recognize that. And also, I have to have follow-up appointments in the future. Life as a whole. And this also applies to our soul. What color? Green. Our soul's journey through reincarnation. So it has to have an awareness of that. Including the purpose of your current reincarnation. It also has to have a understanding. Well, it sort of goes to spiritual development, but the destiny or ultimate purpose, we'll use that word because ultimate purpose, because destiny is sometimes used in a shitty way. Ultimate purpose of life. In your level or again stage, in the movement, motion. Have motion, I hear people say now. How much motion do they have? What's your motion or your movement to your goal? Self goal. And as that's the case for what's true, or your positive states of mind, also dreams represent your problems. So similarly, it must have color. This one. Your an awareness of all, or the whole of all human problems, or the nature of pathologos itself as a whole, as a principle. Equally, your individual problem or pathologos, so that it can present your problem back to you, relevant to your current life, relevant to how that problem reflects your reincarnation. In other words, we are reincarnated to have a specific problem that reflects our false image of the self. So we pick a life, or we're forced, the principles show us that we will have a life that will allow us to pick up a certain pathologos, false belief about self and reality, causing the certain problems. So your individual problem relative to your level of development towards your ultimate purpose of knowing the self, relative to your reincarnation, how it's expressing in your present, how it will play out in your future, and tying it back to your past, so it knows the whole of your life as well, so it can show you the root causes of your problems, show you how your problems gives you what you need to develop through your cognitive function, because beliefs are the cause of problems, and it's your movement into understanding that allows you to solve problems, and your freedom from beliefs allow you to better develop the understanding of the self logos. As you do that, your problems will either play out a negative state of mind. So as Emma is close to seeing or concluding, it's the states of mind or the kinds of psyche that you are in that is the root cause of your problems and your highest excellence, because we're seeking the highest part of the self goal is that state of self-justice, which we call the ideal of the samurai, where you act or being in the zone if you're a sportsman or sportswoman, to act with the full force of your being without thinking or planning, most appropriately for the circumstances. So that's a high state of mind, and our problems are caused by negative states of mind, which is our movement through stages of spiritual or philosophical, same thing, development. All of this we are seeing in our reflection of the Dream Master that communicates to you are required. Not only that, it presents it in an artful way. So somewhere in here we have to fit the ideas of art and a skillful use of these as wholes and parts, or a paradigm to benefit the subject. The art of medicine benefits the patient. Drama, it's a master of drama. You've walked out of movies before, you've never got bored in a dream, because the drama perfectly reflects yourself as a whole and parts. Your image of yourself, your problems, what's playing out in your present is reflected in your dreams. So it's master of drama. It recognizes these metaphysical principles as parts and wholes in your particular stage within it, and it presents it according to the drama for benefit or artfully. So it has the skill of mythology that we are here to master ourselves. So, wouldn't you want to know the whole of spiritual development, states of mind, cognitive functions, your purpose within your development in this life and beyond? And wouldn't you also want to know your problems as a whole and your part within a whole? Is that what we're seeing is needed for people like Emma, from the huge beef of Emma right now, who is trying to solve human problems? So this applies to the best of us, like Emma and the other people who live on my soundboard, good people who are doing this kind of thing in the world. But also every single person has a problem they want to solve and has some excellence that they want to reach. Therefore, our dream maker is also the model for our own self-excellence. How we can function artfully ourselves through mythology or sharing the dialectic and our understanding and our knowledge of parts and whole, or wisdom. To experience the whole is nous, or knowing. Knowledge with a capital L. No, capital K. So the whole. In English, we say knowledge with a capital K, L-E-D-G-E, but the word is nous in Greek, or ousia itself, self-ousia. Recognition of the parts, we say understanding. Philodianoia, under love and logos, understanding. Dianoia is understanding, or in Greek it's dianoia, giving us philos, love, dianoia. That's the art we're learning. Dianoia. And the dialectic is the skill of using the parts relative to the principles of the whole. Having both is wisdom. So philosophy is love of wisdom. And in the text so far, we have an idea that, hey, it's still working with this, still a hypothesis. But so far from the text, we have wisdom or Sophia. And philosophy is love of wisdom is philosophy. So, our politicians and spiritual figures, authorities, or any kind of leader of humanity should be loving wisdom, necessarily a apprehension of the whole and a skillful understanding of the parts, knowing and understanding that we can then use artfully to benefit others. Currently, our politicians do not love understanding. Very clearly, they are addicted to love of physical pleasure. They like to, do sex stuff with, the mayoral election of New York is happening right now as I record. So the guy running against Mumdani is Cuomo, known for lots of sexual abuse and using his power and authority. Just like the dozen that we have that's come to light, imagine the many, many more behind closed doors that he's gotten away with because of his life of privilege, nepotism, power, wealth, and even political connections. Love of physical pleasures. That's called love of the body, or philosomatos, soggy tomatoes. Socrates says the opposite of philosophy is philosomatos. And philosomatos, love of the body, has love of wealth or love of fame as the two primary desires. So if we need to recognize states of being for our politicians, hey, are you interested in fame? Are you interested in wealth? Get the fuck out of here. You're you want to be an NBA referee? You don't care about basketball? You just want to get famous? You just want to, open a gambling company and do crimes? You can't be the coach of the NBA team. You have to have a love for basketball, understanding it as a whole and how to coach individual Oi, who's that? I didn't even know I wasn't even watching. Thank you. Thank you, Carissa Carlin. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying. I am doing curiously. I am full of wonder and curiosity, and also amazement that how a book can outline so clearly the nature of reality, the meaning of life, and what we are here specifically to do as people. That's amazing. I can't believe a book like this exists. And we're so fortunate as human beings to be around at a period of history where there is someone who has rediscovered these principles of the dialectic, allowing us to learn the meaning of life and solve human problems that have up till now remained unsolved. Since Socrates, so for about 2,500 years we've been in ignorance, but because of this book we're able to turn ourselves around, which is of course ousia, the principle of ousia, the nature of mind itself and the activity of mind. Where am I from? I am from Australia. Not that it's relevant because this applies to all people. So Socrates says, hey, by the way, you're an MBA. Yeah, nice place. Because I'm here. Because I'm here. All right. So Right, you don't love the whole of basketball, and you don't have a love for understanding the parts as well. You don't have a love for the wisdom of basketball. You can't be a basketball coach. Same thing for politics and religion. You don't have a love for the whole of these elements we've defined and a parts, the two together, knowledge and understanding, nous and dianoia, wisdom. Philosophy is philos sophia, the love of wisdom. Its corruption is philosomatos. Oh, good for you. Welcome. Philosomatos, love of the body, love of fame, love of wealth. That's the nature of souls or stages of development people are in. In other words, all of us have to do this. All of us have to learn from our Dream Master and learn to be like our Dream Master. Especially the best people like Emma from the Majority Report. I'm having a huge beef. Oh, nice to meet you too. Having a huge beef with Emma right now.
Bless you. Excuse you. Bless you.
She can bless me all she wants, but she needs to get me permanently unbanned from her Twitch chat. She's got some Nazi Twitch moderators happening right there.
Please end kink shaming on your show.
Is what I've been trying to say. We need to recognize this, so that we will never vote for anybody who is not a philosopher. Someone who loves wisdom and the pleasure of recognizing the whole of the model and understanding of the parts and functioning through it to benefit. Art. Is that a chat GPT response about what Australia is? Sounds like chat GPT.
But you shut up. You shut the hell up for a second. You're not. The internet is all robots.
The internet is
You
robots.
need to flood these platforms with fake people.
Are you a fake person?
This is an AI guy.
You an AI guy using ChatGPT to tell me about Australia? So. No? You're for reals? Well, if so, then I've betrayed the friendly people description. Because that wasn't very friendly to say that you're a chat GPT, to say...
Further fill the internet with spam and AI slop.
Can you suggest something? Uh-oh, you are spam.
Further fill the internet with spam and AI slop.
Ah, damn it. I thought I had a new chatter, but it was just an AI bot. Yeah, okay.
Further fill the internet with spam. And this is an AI guy.
AI guy.
You need to flood these platforms with fake people. It is spam. They are trying to convince them to flood the internet with spam.
Right. So, I got a spam person in the chat, which sucks, but there you go. So, philosophy. The love of wisdom, which brings together the wholes and the parts, which our Dream Master has and represents, showing a understanding of the four aspects of the dialectic. Using the dialectic to know the truth, including all those wholes and parts, about our problems, philosophical midwifery, dreams. Well, it's the dream guy, so obviously it's a win there. But also it creates a drama or a mythology, allowing it to share and function providentially. So it seems like the providence is the functioning of the self. So maybe our Dream Master is a expression of, so providence is prior to nous, prior to seeing. So the functioning using the whole of the model, using a mastery of the parts, somehow providentially using it. So in some way, in a curious way that we are super curious about today, the Dream Master is a kind of excellence of self, question mark. Who's and ours. So that's where we are in the book. And that's where we are at the internet. Huge content creators. Two of the best content creators on the platform, me and Emma from the Majority Report.
The primary purpose of peanuts is not to murder, it's to eat for sustenance.
With insights like that, having a huge beef, and that's where we are with the huge internet beef that's breaking the internet and going viral. Viral. Going viral. That's the model of the dialectic we're here to do. That's the dialectic on the dialectic. You can do your own. Look at the current world and do if the dialectic doesn't exist. What would you call it? How does it address problems? How does it respond to dreams or solving all problems? How does it get expressed through culture or mythology? Mythology is a personification and analogy representing all of these principles and our soul's development. That's what theology is. And this is what the Dream Master must have for it to function in that kind of excellence. So this is the Dream Maker. What must the Dream Maker have? Dream Maker has... That's where we are. That's where we are in the text. And we have this new word on the table with us to help. Usia, as the nature of mind itself. As an activity that we can be like if we make our nature a kind of reflecting on ourselves and make our activity a kind of self-reflection. But also, this is the self-logos as a whole, so make sure our self-reflection involves the logos. So that union of self-reflection and the logos gives us the dialectic. So the more that we do the dialectic, the more that we can integrate it. It's a learning and nurture. Put that on the board. A learning and nurture, because those are the things that we can take with us. Non-physical things that can affect our soul. A learning and nurture that you eventually see through. And that we can even do it with excellence. With self-excellence. Which we call the zone. Or the ideal of the samurai. That they train for. Or other martial artists, why not? So we're wondering about Usia. How is it an essence and how is it an activity and how can we be like it? We have those three big questions. How can the self cause pure being? So how can that which transcends qualities of the self-logos be the cause of the highest positives, the highest superlatives, beauty, justice, being? These, you don't get better words than that, bliss. And then how can that highest expression of language, descriptors, adjectives be the cause of our physical world and a manyness? How can this ultimate oneness be the cause of manyness? And how can this manyness itself cause its own negative creation, false beliefs when our parents imitate a Noah, giving us our false beliefs, our false image of ourselves, the dumbass opinions that we carry and identify with from our clan beliefs. And then we have that tyranny of our false beliefs unleashed by political leaders who say you've got a duty to America. And if they sound enough like your parents, you can be manipulated. Same thing with priests. You have a duty to the church to kill the Browns, to kill the Muslims, to kill the immigrants. Jesus loves Trump. Bullshit like that. Unleashing the tyranny. So making it an ethical responsibility for our functioning within society to go through the dialectic done to philosophical midwifery so we can't be fucked with and manipulated by fascists. But also a moral responsibility for ourselves and our soul to free ourselves from our own suffering and problems needed to progress, solve problems, to turn Earth from a terrible hellscape to a utopia, because humanity itself has an excellence that it can reach. And we saw that in the book. Humanity's job ends when it evolves out of humanity to a higher state of being that it can evolve into of a greater whole. So ethically for you as a part of humanity, and morally for your own soul and your own functioning and development, we each have a responsibility or obligation to have fun
Where's the joy? Where's the whimsy? Where's the childlike wonder?
It's the funnest thing in the world. It's the most meaningful thing in the world. It's the best conversations in the world. And it's literally the meaning of life as well to go through this mastery of the dialectic. Why? You can't remove your problems unless you're surfacing your problems. So you have to be doing this, having your nose in this book and seeking to master the dialectic, seeing the dialectic in the text, applying the dialectics to the part, nailing them down for yourself and sharing them with your friends over coffee. Cheers.
Hey!
In doing that, you will surface the negative self-talk, undermining yourself. You're a bad noodle. You're a small bean. You can't do it. So you have to do this to surface this. That moral and ethical responsibility is philosophical midwifery to remove your injustice and blocks. You can't do either of those things unless you're doing dream analysis. So again, the meaning of life and the moral and ethical responsibility for everyone to master and do dream analysis. That's pretty neat. Can you imagine if our society had every student doing dream analysis before morning tea time at every school? What an amazing world we would have. Holy crap. If you could implement one law to affect the world positively, it would be that. Because it has scope over both. And it's our literal guide from self. Finally, we have to share it with others, which is why I have this channel, which is why I'm trying my best to stream my music. You can follow me on Jed Phoenix Music. I'm still getting used to how to stream music on Twitch, but I'm trying my best.
I think it's so awesome.
And Aaron Brown thinks it's so awesome. So if you want to hang out and chat and support me, Jed Phoenix Music on Twitch. Once I get comfortable, maybe I'll also do it on YouTube as well. And maybe I'll even start, once I get popular enough, maybe I'll live stream gigs and stuff as well. So I'm still getting used to that, but this channel, along with that music thing, is my attempt to share it. Especially now that I'm in this huge beef with Emma and I can't share it with people like Emma. Well, some people like Emma I can, but not Emma, because her crazy Nazis that are in charge of her Twitch chat have gone all Nazi on our ass. Huge beef with Emma right now. It's going crazy on the internet. Drama. Slop drama.
You're going around doing that in the weirdo pool. That's you.
Yeah, and that's you in the weirdo pool. Twitch moderators of a majority report. Emma's secret police. So that's where we are in the book. What is Usia? How does self cause being and being cause becoming? How do we evolve back to our first cause, our first and final cause? How do we remove the fake first and final cause, the fake idea of self, so we can do that? And how do we understand our dreams and our dream maker? That's where we are. I'm going to take a quick pause for a bio break and top up my copy, and I'll be right back. I hope you're having fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Where's the joy?
Where's the whimsy? Where's the childlike wonder?
Where's the wonder, dude? Right here. I'll see you in a minute. Let's jump in. Here's where we are. So with all that in mind, we have the question, Xenophanes is Parmenides' teacher. He said that God is one, and it's the whole of God that is seeing, hearing, and thinking. Are you seeing, hearing, and thinking? Apparently that's the whole of God, and yet it's one. So how can there be a whole that's one? Because whole is usually a oneness of parts. What a puzzle. And you can carry that as a koan, of course. What is the whole of seeing, hearing, and thinking right now? Because it's, even though it's the first, well, it's our ultimate goal to know the self. Even though it's beyond knowing. The self-logos is somehow our tool, seeing as it's the excellence of both states of mind, the self-logos as a whole in nous or knowing or usia, the excellence of our physical being in the zone while not shooting hoops, but by doing the dialectic. That's the self-logos there. So how does the self-logos allow us to recognize the self? And it's the one that's seeing, hearing, and thinking right now. That's curious. It's the one that's seeing, hearing, and thinking right now. Ooh. Can you see it? Can't be seen, but it's doing the seeing. Oh, that's our goal. So there's something in us that's pondering and reflecting and aware of itself, allowing us to do the things that we do to achieve what we can achieve. So there's some sort of pondering, reflecting, self-awareness that's necessary as a state of mind or a mind to allow us to do things. Okay, so that thing that is doing that reflection can revert upon itself. The mark of a living being or a living person is to have this power of reversion, self-reflecting in some way, as well as an ability to act. So a more philosophical way of saying this is to say that the distinctive mark of the soul of man is what the Greek call ousia, which is a substance, a self-reflective substance or essence of mind or life, as well as an activity. You can do an activity of ousia, and that's what we've been talking about today. The activity of, well, knowing oneself as pure mind, or the dialectic. Now, both of, oh, and by the way, that activity has to have a fullest flowering. There is an excellence. There is a height of human functioning or self-reflection and activity, or substance and activity. There is an ultimate state of mind, and then there's an ultimate activity. And ultimately, we want to present that as a hero. We have Hercules and Penelope, the ideal woman and ideal man, but we can even make our own. So these two ideas, best state of mind and best activity, is explored in the study of the nature of dreams and the dynamics of dreams as well. And we've been talking about how super important that is as, whoops, holy shit, can't do that, as our guide to do, well, our growth and to remove our problems, our perfection and our purification, our removing of injustice and our reaching of justice, our reaching of excellence and removing the zombie virus that makes our life in a rut that seeks something that we don't even know we're seeking, pseudo excellence. So, dream analysis is necessary. And it's also the model for how to communicate or help others, ideally, or mythology. So super, super, super important to reflect on the nature of dreams and the dream maker and the dynamics within, so we can benefit from it ourselves. Wow. So Jesus hopefully sees the significance and says, how about you do the dialogue? So maybe Jesus is recognizing the special skill and art that Socrates himself has, so he should be leading the conversation. And there's a huge beef that I'm having with Emma right now.
It's a total shit show.
Which is a total shit show on her Twitch channel, because she has the worst people leading as her Twitch chat moderators, banning the best person, me.
I'm a real living being.
Who's a real living being, being banned permanently. Oh my god, it's a disaster. I said it's a disaster.
Total shit show.
It's a total shit show.
Freaks.
And they're freaks. So huge beef that's breaking the internet. So Jesus is unlike these Twitch moderators. So we can say of the majority reports Twitch moderators, they are the most un-Jesus-like. Because here Jesus is saying, I recognize you should be leading Socrates. That'll allow me a chance to reflect and see it for myself. So what's the nature of dreams? And Socrates said, hey, by the way, is there a kind of unusual intelligence that must be present for the dreams to be as they are? A non-interpretive way, so no projection, or it's not dream interpretation, that's for babies. It's an analysis, so it's seeing it for what it is. Non-interpretive way, can we show that there is a pattern of being part of a rational order? Is there a rational order that exists eternally? The self-logos, of course, was what we call it. Don't tell Emma's Twitch chat that. Huge beef with her right now.
I've been a bad little girl.
She's been so bad. She keeps saying it, but does she really feel it? Oh, that's horrible. I take that back. I felt bad even pretending. The rational order is the self-logos, of course. And now, meaning we have to participate in that equally or match the state of being or state of mind of our dream master. The better we can match it, just as we're reading this, we're reading someone who has mastered human excellence. And the better we can match or raise ourselves to meet the author Pierre Grimes at his level of mind, or the character Socrates, the more we're becoming like him, the more we're evolving. So too for our dream master. Can we see the rational order it participates in, and in our seeing it and doing our best to understand our dreams, can we become that level of excellence? So, the information is presented at the right time for the dreamer to reflect or learn from. Let's hope that that we don't have a Twitch moderator preventing that right time of information, because I'm in a huge beef with Emma right now.
I've been a bad little girl.
So bad.
They're completely lying to you. They're
'cause they're
completely lying.
Completely lying, her Twitch moderators. Breaking the internet. Content creator drama. It's crazy.
Hey, whoa. Who asked you? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So, dreams come to us at the right time for the dreamer to reflect and learn from. Got to do the reflecting and learning. So that's that Usia again. What kind of knowledge must the dream maker have for each dreamer? Have of each dreamer for the dream to match the spiritual life of the dreamer. So, all dreamers. So, pretty amazing intelligence. I like those questions, says Jesus. The dream maker must have an intimate knowledge of the problems we face that even we are not aware of, the dreamer. The kinds of problems we are facing. What's that to say but that the maker of dreams far excels the intelligence of the dreamer? So all of this rubbish from Aristotelians, people who have fallen out away from the logos, or materialists that say, oh, the dreams are just brain. It's just your own mind sorting out things. Crazy, because it has an intelligence that far extends your regular life intelligence, which is why we want to meet it where it is at. For it to know about your problems that you don't even have an awareness of. That's intriguing. The beauty of the simplicity of the dream messages. It condenses so much into a few sentences and with just a few images. Very insightful and very beautiful. Reminds me of someone. Not Emma's Twitch chat. Different one. Very insightful and beautiful the way the dream maker fashions the dreams. So this is what we've been talking about with, and I'm on a new board because the old blackboard was taking too long to load because I had too much insight on it. So this model of there's an excellence, or the word that we just read, excellence. Oh, crazy. Excellence, or fullest flowering of our development. Or hyparxis is the fancy way. Cool word, hyparxis. At the top, there is a power needed to function and an activity we have an example, the dialectic. Beauty. And we had simplicity in there. And Whoops. And a beautiful representation of, or what did he say? Ordered. Oh, look. Insight. Yeah, insight's fine, but what does insight mean? A beautiful, rational order. Rational order. Harmony. Or a rational order. Those two come together to express simply and therefore beautifully what you are seeing, rationally coming together. Culminates in the dialectic. That's our highest functioning, or the hyparxis. And what we've been playing with today is, what must the dream maker know? It must know the whole of our life, the whole of spiritual development, the whole of cognitive functioning, the whole of your soul's journey through many lifetimes, the whole of problems, the whole of your, all those things, but also the parts, so it can present the dream relevant to your part or stage within your development, or the nature of the problem manifesting in your present relative to your past and causing a future that your dreams can even anticipate. What stage of cognitive function you're in? Are you stuck in belief, or are you moving into understanding? Are you at the edge of understanding and you're ready to make a jump into full understanding, because it's two different things? Are you ready to sacrifice belief to jump into the pool of understanding?
I love this guy.
Loves me. So we can say, the activity is the parts, and the beauty is seeing them come together into a whole. This is not a dry academic bullshit discipline. It's meaningful to see it come into, see all of the parts that we've been reading come into a whole by applying it to your life and being able to free yourself from your issues, your suffering, your problems, and to reach your most meaningful goals. That is kick-ass. That feels good. It affects your life and it's beautiful. That's Aphrodite, the whole. So we can represent that as a mythology, or Aphrodite. And the activity, Apollo. The reading, you have to have your nose in a book. You can't master being a mechanic unless you're reading some sort of mechanical engineering textbook. You can't master the logos unless you're, well, all the dialectic, the fullest flowering of our excellence, unless you're reading a book that defines and demonstrates the dialectic. Socrates, written by another dialectician, Pierre Grimes, as far as I know, the only two that's been around so far. Oh, Parmenides, of course, for him. And Diotima, although, yeah, you don't know a lot about Diotima. Apollo and Aphrodite come together to reach Hermes. This is a triad of principles. This is the anagogic triad, or upward moving, or the activity triad. So we have activity here, the activity, the power, the inspiration to get into this game here, and the highest excellence or fullest flowering or hyparxis. This is itself in here, because this is the activity triad, or the anagogic. Anagogic is a fun word, anagogic, because it means upward moving. Anagogic, or activity triad. And this is a personification, Hermes, Aphrodite, Apollo, of metaphysical principles, beauty, harmony, hyparxis, dialectic. That also accounts for our soul's journey through those principles to our highest goal. Read the book Apollo, bring it together Aphrodite, master the dialectic Hermes. That's theology. A personification or analogy or metaphor representing did I say personification? Representing metaphysical principles and the principles for our soul's development, allowing us to grow. That's theology. A mythology of metaphysics. That's what theology is. According to the book that bangs so much. So this is from earlier in the book, so we can sew it together. Take this from earlier in the book and bring it with us to our reading. No, bring it with us to our reading. Hooray. Yay. So, a pattern of a rational order, a beauty of its simplicity, and presented at the right time. Parts, whole, and function, or rulership. Apollo, Aphrodite, and Hermes. So we can see it. See, this is us. For these paragraphs to be written in this way by the author, so that he gives us a taste of Apollo, a taste of Hermes, a taste of Aphrodite, knowing that earlier he's given us these terms in the book, means he's functioning like what he's describing. He is giving you the material like dreams for you to put the puzzle pieces together, so long as you bring yourself to match it and apply your mind in the highest way. He's giving you the video game to solve the puzzles of. Now we're doing it together, but if you are the sort of person who's watched this far into this video, you're one of a dozen maybe so far, until I get Hassan Piker's 50,000 Twitch followers and Asmongold's 50,000. I'll have 100,000, that means. And I feel I'm owed them. And an apology from Emma. A huge beef with Emma right now. But realistically, only a few. So I think it's okay that we solve it together if you're the sort of person to have stuck around this long. Meaning our author is demonstrating the very thing we are defining and hoping to demonstrate ourselves. So as we read, we're also seeing, is there a pattern and structure, not just behind the dream, which is the content of the conversation, but the author himself. Because if the author is a master of the logos, as our dream maker is, and that's our goal, well, that's cool. I haven't seen that before. Then we can, then in matching the mind of the author, we are raising ourselves to this fullest flowering too. It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win.
I said it's a win-win-win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-
See how many wins? That's all of the wins. That's all our wins. Just be winning. Up in here. So beautiful in the simplicity, and which is crucial because most people only remember a snippet. Again, it takes practice. Get out your phone. As soon as you open your eyes, hit record, start talking. The more you practice, the more you'll remember. And then transcribe it from the audio. Now we've got AI. You can use TurboScribe and get a pretty good translation. Maybe worth reviewing it just to make sure it's clear. You don't want to have any of the keywords mixed up. But whatever you have, even a few sentences or a few images, it will be so profound to help you. That's the level of functioning of the dream maker, which is needed because most people don't remember the whole dream. Now there are hacks. First of all, be in a relationship with someone who's also in the game. The human game. The quest to be a Hercules or a Penelope. So you can talk about it over coffee and eggs. or muesli with yogurt and strawberries. Second, you can even wake yourself up between 90 minutes and 2 hours with a little alarm, because that's the interval of dreams. I have about 4, and they happen at like 90-minute increments. So if you have a 2-hour or 90-minute alarm, you'll have them fresh in your mind, and you won't mix the scenes together when you recall them all at once in the morning. Just a little bit of hacks, life hacks, spiritual hacks, for no extra charge. So it has to have these features. And another remarkable dimension, the power of dreams, is through the power of dreams that the dreamer is brought to make connections between your present problem and the roots in your childhood past. So past, present, and anticipating the future. Not in there yet, but I anticipate in the future of the book, you'll add also the future. Some dreams are prophetic, but also if you understand the patterns that you play out in the present, you can anticipate the future. Fate, if you have a problem. Dreams also include high and low states of mind. That's key, because what we're recognizing and what Emma needs to recognize, huge beef with Emma right now.
I'm too pure.
She thinks she's too pure, but she has crazy people in her Twitch moderators.
Please end kink shaming on your show.
All they do is kink shame. That our problems or our drama or our activity has a root cause, our state of mind. And of course, there's a cause beyond that. We'll save that. We won't tell Emma that straight away, the self. But anyway, the image or the true nature of the self. But anyway, we'll keep that in our back pockets. We won't share that with Emma until she promises to permanently unban me. Otherwise, we won't share the cause behind states of mind, and I won't go on her show anymore. Even if she begs me. And even if she cries and begs me, I won't go on until I'm permanently unbanned from Twitch chat. Because we're in a crazy beef that's breaking the whole internet.
I've been a bad little girl.
Tell me about it.
If you're experiencing a mental health episode, we don't want to have to see that.
Hey, not me. It's your streamers.
Okay, go ahead.
Your moderators.
Brain rot escalates.
Come on, man. Twitch drama. Gets all the views. That's why I have... It says 1. How many... Doesn't tell me how many viewers I have on YouTube, but it says 1 in Twitch, but I don't know if that's even true. I deserve the 50,000 of Asmongold and her son Piker. I yearn for the viewers. High and low states of mind. So Dream Maker knows it. Or emotional states. Feelings, we might call them colloquially. In exploring the high states, the full content becomes visible, surfacing the presence of more profound states of mind in the dream. You can explore your insights and enlightenment states. In a similar way, you can open up, through dream analysis, the low states. You can find parallels between your past. Your negative states of mind has a history through your past. And in recalling the dream, the dreamer can even recall additional content to the material the dream has forgotten. So that's part of the principles of the activity. Listen to them. And if they remember something, add it. If it's in the dream. This is a sore subject for me because I got into a huge beef with... I wasn't in a huge beef, but they was being piled on because... Towards the end of Pierre's life, he I think he was helping me by demonstrating what happens in dream analysis if these principles weren't followed. But that's okay. Learn from my suffering. Don't go through it yourself. Follow the principles, and insist that you follow the principles together. Holy fuck! Don't go through what I went through. Anyway, let's keep going. You're bringing the logos to dreams. So this is the way you uncover enlightenment experiences you have forgotten or have been ignored or forgotten by the dreamer. Remember how we said this is the paradigm of spirituality? So, as we were saying to Emma, this is the tent pole or the principle or the model or the universal principles that are not applied selectively, one rule for me, one rule for thee. This self-logos is the principle of justice needed for politicians and the left and the progressives to unify the party and unify mankind, no longer compromising with Nazis who don't play that way, because they are stuck in their problems, their ignorance, and the cause of human violence, bloodshed, suffering, exploitation, etc. It's also the paradigm for what are the two professions that don't have to have understanding or a model? Politicians and priests. Kings and clergy. So too must the logos be a principle for spiritual people or gurus. You can get rid of religion because that means to be bound by a saving belief, which again is the cause of human suffering and conflict, even yours. Not just the hundreds of thousands of other religious beliefs that aren't yours, even that extra one. Well, as everyone has their own unique interpretation, because it is interpretation, the billions of religious beliefs and the equally so hundreds of thousands or not millions of people claiming to speak for God. Yes, they're all fucked. But integrity is realizing, hey, if 10 billion or more in the history of humanity religious beliefs have been wrong, my one isn't unique. That's what's called being mature. Now, saying that to Sam on the majority report requires courage. But of course, Nathan Fielding's The Rehearsal talks about that principle in the plane episode. I haven't seen it, but I have seen the interview with CNN, which is a laugh. So it's one thing to have a taste of enlightenment in the experience, and another to be in full union with it, the state of being of Hercules or Penelope. Upon analysis, the briefest state have easily been overlooked, but we can bring insight into the nature of self and reality so long as we identify it in the dream and unpack it, add logos to it through questions and guided self-reflection. To remain in that state of your highest states of mind and add logos to it to discover its depth brings the mind to realize why it is that the pure light of divine luminosity is a dynamic presence. Its essence is also an activity. The dynamic, as we both know, is mind turning upon itself. Usia. Some of the powers of mind can then be unfolded and expressed. That's what we're after. There's activity, essence, and also powers. Because of this. Power, activity, and excellence or existence or model. Even put model up there. The model that it uses for its fullest flowering. Wisdom. Wholes and parts together. Knowing and understanding together. Understanding, knowing, self. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 1. Beliefs is 4, of course, and everything is relative to personal opinion. The establishment Dems is 5. Those are the 5 cognitive states we have on the table, because this book also includes the cognitive states. Just as we've said, our dream master, to be able to function as it does as a providential guide, must know the whole of states of mind. We just talk about that in the book, but also cognitive functions. The fact that we, and also know the individual ones like belief and understanding, the fact that we have got those on the board from the book makes you wonder about the author. That it can recognize. Put them on the board because we've got a new board. So far we have 5 strict dualists, or sometimes called a mass of difference. All they can talk about is differences. Nancy Pelosi is different from Chuck Schumer, is different from Bernie Sanders, is different from all the others. Mass of difference, or slop, we say to that.
Don't be disgusting.
Don't be disgusting. Mass of difference. Or no model. This is what Emma and Sam from the Majority Report are recognizing the establishment demos they don't have a model. We would say, oh, of course they don't. They're at stage 5. You need to recognize that because that's what we're here to do. Belief. 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 Number 4. Clan identity and the cause of problems of human problems. The ones who are in charge because of these 5 didn't do anything. They don't have anything. They just are, we call them just trying to make the best of the situation. Opportunists. Hey, Nancy Pelosi can get her bag, all the insider trading she does, get all the APEC money funding a genocide. Why not? There's no model, there's no principles, there's no truth, there's no justice, says the establishment left. And also, the believers are out in the street doing fascism and Nazi shit. Kidnapping, raping, killing, murdering anyone in masks. Fucking terrible. Every single person paid to be on the left needs to be on the streets too. These fascists have money being given to them by Trump. Every single dollar that a Democrat has needs to be given to the good people to fucking stop the murder of American citizens by number 4, the right-wingers, the Nazis, the believers. The fact that they're not shows they have no principles. That's what I was trying to communicate to Emma, but the Twitch chat moderators wouldn't let me. So we're in a huge beef that's breaking the internet.
I'm too pure.
Do a poggers.
No, it's not poggers.
If you're experiencing a mental health episode, that's anti-feminist in some way.
Right. Not me, your Twitch chat.
Absolutely gooped.
They're all gooped. So, what they should be doing, but of course they won't because you function through your cognitive function, through your state of mind, and they have this one. They can't do anything. They're disconnected from parts to whole. So all of those. So we can also, there's a selfer relationship that categorize each of them of disconnection. The selfers, of course, are the parts of the self logos. We've got self logos, selfers, whole, part, same, and different, like, make a space for it, like and unlike. What else do we have? We have motion or rest. We have peace. Let's go unlimited and limited. Let's go rest and motion. And let's go out of time. Running out of space. Out of time and in time. Notice 12. Like the 12 gods. So what? So these are the selfers or the parts of the self logos. Strict dualists are disconnected. Believers are in conflict. So we can have a disconnection here for that. And we'll make it this color. No, make it the same color. Disconnected. So we can draw a line down the middle. Represent number 5. Believers are the cause of human problems. So we could even say 5 is the conditions for Trump to take over. And then once they get in power, they do their fascist Nazi shit and kill as many people, etc. Take all the money, do all the bad things, destroy the world. Human problems. This would be necessary for Emma to see. I'm not going to tell her unless I'm permanently unbanned. That's my conditions.
Do a poggers.
Thanks, I will. Always. So we can do this one. Disconnection. A conflict. Conflict between they're only a part in conflict with the whole. So here we have a conflict. Make some space for it. Conflict. So the sulfur relationship is conflict. Now, our job is to cross the next line. So put a line here. This is our job. This is where we are in our evolution. Into understanding. Understanding. It's our job. Because this line is the line of ousia, self-reflection, we've been talking about for today, and logos. Or self-logos, let's say. That's the line. That's the evolution line. We cross that line and we save humanity, we create a utopia. We don't, we go extinct. And what? Understanding. We could say the dialectic. The dialectic. The art. Keep art there. Art of dialectic. And our purpose. So it's the solution to problems and our fullest flowering, to use that fancy word, or excellence. Let's make some space. Right. Make some space on the board, doing some writing, fullest flowering or excellence. Excellence. Yeah, and it's our purpose. So it's our purpose, meaning of life. Purpose or meaning of life. Of all life or human destiny. Isn't that cool? There's a meaning of life and we can understand it, and it's understanding itself. Human destiny. I think it's cool. What do you think?
Oh boy, that is a little weird.
It's a little weird, but it's still cool. Imagine.
There's only 2 options at the end of an argument.
Imagine.
The problem is that you can't reason someone out. Imagine people changing their positions and improving for the better.
Imagine we could do that. Imagine. Well, we can, and it's what we're here for. There we go. Now it's self logos or self relationship is providence. So that's what we've been talking about as, smooth this over a little bit, the state of being where, as we've been saying, is necessary for our Dream Master to have, is a state of mind of this. With providence, let's say intelligence, and care, good heart, good mind. Get yourself a girl who has both. Understand. Oh, that's not how you spell intelligence. Intelligence and care, or providence, for its functioning. The state of mind, or as Hercules as put it, as it's explained of the ideal Hercules and Penelope. Penelope is even greater than Hercules because she's a woman and faces even more problems and has to fight the men without going into battle, has to outsmart them and deal with men's shit because women face greater difficulties. So Penelope, the ideal woman, and Hercules. State of mind, while functioning in Hades with the shadows, that's Earth, while having a state of mind of the whole, feasting with the gods and dealing with the shadows. Number 2. Knowing. Knowledge. That's called Nous, or Brilliant Light of Being. Light of Being. It's also Usia itself. Usia. What else can we say about knowing? Self logos as a whole. No, I'll put that in. Well, should we? As whole. Timeless. Etc. But as a whole, but containing all the parts. Out of time, but containing the entirety of time. So, let's not say this then, because it's both. It's the greater, but also including the lesser of those two greater and lesser self-logos terms. So let's say state of mind. Let's say state of mind. Let's say that. And its self-logo and its self-relationship is highest positives descriptors. Give me a sound drop.
I'm too pure. Please.
So, like, not only have you been wronged, the problem is that you can't. Literally, no one has ever experienced joy ever.
Need to break up the quiet. Highest positive descriptors. Highest positive descriptors. There we go. So, let's make some room. These are the cognitive functioning stages we've been talking about. It's necessary for Dream Master to have, and for us to have, and for Emma to have. I'm not going to tell her unless she unbans me and gets the Twitch moderating Gestapo police to apologize profusely and say I was right the whole time. The only thing that's going to end this beef that's breaking the internet, that would be the positive of this and the fullest flowering, what do we say, or the ultimate what should we say, oops, not do that, positives plus positives, or the second hypothesis of Parmenides. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Highest positive and highest positive together. So, modern Dems, people who aren't solving problems but are just taking up space and creating the conditions for fascism, are all on the negative side, the lesser side, and they're disconnected from this side. That's that green line in there. The fascists, the believers, the right wing or progressives or conservatives or religious people or kings and clergy are in conflict. That's the wavy line in between. They are apart in going to blow up the whole. They are different from humanity and they hate people who come together. They break up unions and that kind of shit. They are limited and they hate people who have freedom. They also lie. So they say, oh, we're all about freedom, but we're going to be fucking fascists. That's the Nazis, that's the right-wingers, that's the MAGA, that's the Zionists, that's Netanyahu and Trump and Putin, etc., etc. That's where we are. We're at 4 and 5. We need to cross this line into understanding and knowing. Recognizing that there are states of mind as the cause, which I would convey to Emma if she meets my conditions, and understanding how to do understanding itself. So those are characterized by same logos. See? Analogy. Same and different. We are using same and different. That's why these are not opinions. These are principles. They're always true. Any culture, any time, any planet, any multiverse. Wherever you find yourself at any stage of your human evolution. Therefore, it's the kind of learning and nurture you are specifically here to do because it has a universal scope. The thing that Emma and Sam are talking about, principles. Principles be principling universally, eternally. So, what if you have this as a state of mind while functioning to help those who are, so you are completely free or unlimited yourself while helping people remove the limits of their blocks or beliefs. You can be at peace while helping people who are in motion. You can be out of time as your state of mind while functioning in time, ideally helping people in Hades deal with their shadows or pathologos. Having a grasp of the whole, function ideally to the parts, Hercules and Penelope. Now, knowing to have the greatest whole that includes all of the parts. That's why it's called knowing. You know everything all at once. And not everything as in how many beans there are in China, but this, the destiny of man, the whole of spiritual evolution, the whole of eternity. That's why it kicks so much ass, and why people can mistake it, like the Taoists, for enlightenment. Or as Socrates says, people who can get into this at will would rather spend their time dwelling in the Isles of the Blessed, but we must encourage them to enter into understanding so they can function in time with the rest of us who help us address our limits. Come back as leaders of politics and spirituality and function as a dialectician. You don't have to, says Plato, says Socrates in the Republic, but we're going to encourage them. They'd rather just hang out in the real world. Or as Socrates puts it, he quotes a poet, some kind, I can't remember who. I'd rather be a slave of some homeless, landless person in this world than be king of all the dead that exist in the physical world where all these fucking injustices play out in Hades. But Socrates says, we're going to encourage these people who reach this to join us in our struggles. Come back down, not come back down. Keep your state of mind here, but help us. We can only have a just world when philosophers become rulers or rulers become philosophers, but that's kind of backwards, isn't it? Either way, we need to cross this line. Necessarily, in principle, that you can understand with the parts of understanding. Everything that you've grasped through understanding. I want to understand what a bike is. Take the parts of a bike, etc., bring it to a whole. Hey, a bike, is it the same as a motorbike? Because they're both things of transport? Are they different because one's propelled by your feet? Is a bike like a car in that they're both owned by you, but it's unlike a car because you can't fit a guitar amp on your bike? In other words, all understanding, everything you've seen is a whole and a part, right? Same as something different from all that you perceive, everything that exists, everything you perceive, and all thinking is the use of these self aspects or parts of self logos. So this is a learning that is eternal. Meaning the dialectic, which is simply the mastery of what we're going through, that the Dream Master has, and Emma from the Majority Report,
They're secretly turned on by it.
can be secretly turned on by if she ends this crazy Twitter beef that's going crazy on the internet. The internet's almost broken, some are saying. Me?
I'm going to get you. I'm going to find you. And I'm going to get you.
To the Twitch moderators who banned me permanently without even saying anything. Can you believe? Has there been a greater injustice? Don't think so. So we're all here to master this necessarily. And it's the tent pole that you've been looking for. Wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow. So, whoops, what's going on here? The whole of all the parts. That's why it's enlightenment experience, the Isles of the Blessed. Taoists confuse it for the higher state because they don't have the logos and recognize there even has to be a cause. Our question, therefore, is what are the remaining kinds of relationships between these two sets, or greater and lesser, that could possibly account for the next stage, the self, the ultimate purpose of all existing beings, the first and final cause. What color? I guess yellow. The self. The one self, we call it. It's also called the good self. It's our highest excellence, so it's our ultimate goal. It's the first cause, and it's also our goal, so it's the first and final cause. And it's the principle behind a Hellenic culture or a rational culture. Know thyself. And these correspond to the first 5 hypotheses of Parmenides as well. There are a few more. Well, there is a rejection of each of these, which will populate the entire 10. But these are the ones we have in the book, so we're not going to go any further. We're not going to go to the rejection of them, because the rejection showed the necessity of the positive. For example, nihilism is a rejection of both. But if you can reason someone step by step through what must exist for them to be a nihilist, there is neither. There's not a whole or part. Everything is nothing. They will come to the conclusion that for that position to exist, it presumes there must be 5. So 5 has its opposite in nihilism, which happens to be the 9th hypothesis of Parmenides, which has its existence necessarily to show rationally why 5 has to exist. 5 itself defeats itself because it shows how it necessitates the self-logos for its relationship as a necessary reflection. If you leave belief, if you grew up in a belief, and every human being does, and you leave belief without crossing this line we are literally here to cross, you become a Democrat, an establishment Democrat. Holy shit, if the universal principles are what my crazy Muslim or my crazy Christian or my crazy Jewish or my crazy Scientology or crazy family belief says, and that's garbage, there mustn't be a realm of mind. That's where this guy's at.
A space wizard farted out the universe. All humans are inbred from a single pair of humans, not once but twice. If you're a naughty person, you get tortured eternally in a pool of lava by a vindictive genocidal deity who loves you.
So someone very intelligent like Professor Richard, I think his name is, Professor Dave or Professor Richard, I can't fucking remember, I'll find it. Very intelligent and can quite brilliantly articulate the irrationality of 4, if he doesn't get into philosophy, will become a 5, and he will become a materialist and say there is no whole. There is no whole of mind. There is no paradigm of the self-logos. There is no whole of destiny of man. We're all just rotting corpses. Materialism or reductionism, reducing all higher functioning like intelligence and dreams to the smallest part. We're all just neurochemicals. A perfectly rational, understandable conclusion from leaving belief without addressing the harm that it has done to you. You can't just leave a cult and say, well, now I'm cult free. No. You have to reflect on all the bullshit that was ingrained into you from childhood. You have to do the work. So that's why we need dialecticians. So let's hope he doesn't ban me from his YouTube comment section. Professor Dave explains. So really, really good at using reason and evidence to address the harm done by belief. But again, he also has the effects from belief. We would become friends with him and say, you're doing great work, love your content, you're the best, but also you need to do this. Otherwise, you'll stay in 5. But also, if you're a nihilist, get your ass over into 5. By being open to a dialectical reflection on on what is presumed by your nihilistic position, which you can be led to see, implies there has to be parts. Are you having a conversation? Are there words involved in this conversation? Is it kind of nice to be understood? Even though what the position is very lonely? Is there a state of mind associated with nihilism? Loneliness, emptiness, disillusion, black-pilled, doomer? That you can articulate? Can we understand each other? So there are at least 2 different parts of you and me engaging in some sort of words which are at least parts that allow us to communicate and understand each other, which is a kind of nice kind of whole. So there are at least parts, even if there's no meaning behind it all. 5. Their position implies 5. Rationally. Don't have to believe you, not because Jesus said so or dear leader says so. So Professor Dave would really he would be a fantastic dialectician for someone who's a nihilist. And there are certain positions or certain stages of cognitive development and soul development that require the introduction of a second person.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
It's not a solo quest. As kick-ass as the anime solo leveling is, this isn't a solo leveling quest. That's why he's on the soundboard.
We definitely are not born with a starter kit of beliefs, buddy.
listen.
Religion is shoved into children's brains forcibly through indoctrination, and if it's any kind of fundamentalism, it's essentially child abuse. Even if a kid was to come to this conclusion totally out of their own accord, that there is a divine entity that created everything, it sure as fuck wouldn't be the malicious sociopathic god that you assholes worship.
That last sentence, so first of all, brilliant. Well articulated, rational, ordered, Apollo, presented simply and in an entertaining cadence. Beautiful, beautiful use of logos. That last section, even if there is a God, blah, 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 is the opening. Yes, that's the game. It's not that, it's not for, but it's not nothing. That's why he's on the board. He's great intelligence, seems to be really, really caring, goes out of his way to be caring, and then shares where he's at. But it's these sorts of people that I'm trying to reach out to, or get 100,000 Hassan Piker and Asmongold's followers, not for my financial enrichment, although it would be lovely. That's what it's all been about. The Benjamins. Get the Benjamins. Get the cha-ching. No, I'm just kidding. It's to be of a status enough that these people would give a shit to listen to what I have to say. Hey, you're doing fantastic. Here's the next stage. And we need you in the fight. There are opposite of 5 is 9ers. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches the rejection of 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's a mysterious 10th, which is the rejection of self, but that's a different conversation. So there's a 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9ers, these nihilists, you would be very well suited to talk to them, and it's nihilists who need someone like you to have a conversation with them with a good heart and good head, to show them rationally that what they are doing by having that position implies the logical necessity for 5. You can take them out of 9 into 5. And then hopefully as you do that, you can continue your own development so you know what it feels like, how difficult it can be to make this progression. Especially all of the harm that you've been trying your best to help humanity with addressing, caused by 4's belief. In other words, it's really affected you. It's going to be hard for you to say, hey, just because these jabronis are being jabronis doesn't mean there's no whole, doesn't mean there's no same, doesn't mean there's no freedom or unlimitedness or rest or eternity. And what it's like to verify that understanding in direct experience, and how much it's different, how much 3 is a reflection of 5, and how different 2 is as a reflection of 4. So we can see this transitional line as a kind of reflection. Hey, do believers claim there is a God? Yep. What's God? What's the divine? Nous, knowing. Is it a complete distorted reflection, the cause of human suffering? Yes. So it's a distorted reflection of 2. Hey, people like Professor Dave, do they use reason and logic really well? Yep. Is it kind of like understanding? Yep. But are they using it in a negative way to deny the existence of the higher, like establishment Dems, otherwise rational, but no principles, no model, no eternity, no meaning of life? Yep. So it's a kind of reflection of understanding in a distorted way, just as looking in a mirror is a kind of reflection of yourself, but it's missing all the essential ingredients. No will, no intelligence. Left is right when you look in the mirror. Reflection. So this is a kind of beautiful, symmetrical level of reflection that we can see because we're having kick-ass fun, because this book is so fucking amazing. This idea of symmetry is a higher level of rational order. Beautiful, isn't it?
Where's the joy? Where's the whimsy? Where's the child?
Joyful and whimsical. We're having fun. And similar position for Emma, only Emma is on the cusp. That's why I felt I needed to reach out to her. But fascist Twitch moderators perma-banned me. Holy shit, I've never been perma-banned from a Twitch chat before. Huge beef right now with Emma.
That's anti-feminist in some way?
I'll say so. I say so. So, above all of that is the self, the first and final cause, the maxim of knowing thyself. And so we want to know, what is the self-logos relationship that identifies it rationally, forever, empirically? Empirical is the wrong word. Empirical is understanding, but only applied to the material world, ignoring the realm of being and this realm of self. So we can say rationally rather than empirically. Self a relationship of three question marks. That's our puzzle. I'll put it right at the top because it's the most important. So each of these colors represents the relationship between these selfers and which one is the one self or the good self. That's our puzzle. How do you know that which is beyond knowing? Well, it has to be something, because these parts have to come from somewhere. The highest positives together have to have some cause. So there has to be some inherent self-logos beyond its experience in its higher sense, necessarily. That's our puzzle, because that's the self. By the way, it's looking right now. It's hearing right now. It's thinking right now, and it's one. That's Xenophanes, the teacher of Parmenides. Parmenides outlines these 5 and the 4 other ones that its opposites. And there's a 5th we can add. Well, a 10th we can add. And there's maybe. That may be in the book. That's Pierre Grimes dropped that bombshell the year before he died, so exciting. But he gives 9. He gives these 5 and the 4 rejections of these 4. But we can maybe add a couple. So Xenophanes said, hey, it's the whole of God. It's one, and it's the whole of seeing, hearing, and thinking right now. This one we're after, the self, the one. He taught Parmenides. Parmenides broke it down for us and gave us the dialectic. Socrates mastered it. And Pierre Grimes, 2,500 years later, rediscovered midwifery, allowing him to rediscover Socrates and allowing us now to pick up where we left off. Because he mastered all 4 of them, including sharing it. That's the book we're reading. That's this puppy here. And that's where we're at right now. A wondrous gift, a beautiful gift beyond all else. Why? Because dreams present those high states of mind and the negative ones, as well as its activities played out in drama that we can unpack and learn about ourselves through. The mind must know itself through. It is a bountiful gift beyond all else. For the mind to know itself through dreams is remarkable, as is the depth of knowledge it transmits. All right. Wondrous it is to be sharing it, what Socrates is saying. A reflection on what the dream does and what it must have, so how we can benefit from it. Yes, it is as you say, says Jesus, and wondrous it is to be sharing it and exploring its depth. Truly, it is a bountiful gift beyond all else. Our dreams, holy fuck. You don't even have to pay a subscription fee to some multinational conglomerate evil person. Evil doesn't exist. Very negatively functioning person with terrible beliefs. It's free. Can't patent it and hoard it away for just me. Just me, only me can benefit from this technology. Just me. Yes. No, it's free. Holy crap. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. A bountiful gift beyond all else. 4, the mind to know itself through dreams is remarkable. Your mind can know itself through dreams. Fuck me. As is the depth of knowledge it transmits. So mind can know itself through dreams. I like that. The depth of knowledge that it transmits to us is remarkable as well. It is as you say, says Socrates. The dream maker has an astonishing knowledge of the dreamer. It must know the spiritual path, whole and part. And what the stage, well, here we go. That's the whole, that's the spiritual path. And the stage the dreamer is in for the dream to have the impact it does. Provided there's no... Anyway, I'll stop with that stupid thing about Emma. I'm sure she will unban me once I get those 100,000 Twitch followers, and she's like, oh, maybe we can have him on the show, and she'll unban me permanently. Never ban this guy. Even if what he says is outside of your small pea brain, he's right all the time. And he always has been. He's never been wrong about anything. No, that's not true. But this is we're right about because it has, you know, you get it. You get it. You get it.
I'm too pure.
You get it.
That one's perfect and exactly the case.
See, she says that about me, and then we'll be friends again. This beef is crazy. It's gone out of control. So it has to know the spiritual path and the stage you're in for it to have the impact it has. The dream maker must have, as it were, a spiritual map. Any of these a map? Is this a map? Is this a map? Is this a map? Is this a map for our activity? Is this a map for what we're here to master? Is this a map for all of its parts? Is this a map for reality? Ontology, what exists? Is this a map for different cognitive functions? Epistemology? Are we becoming like the Dream Master? The more we become like the Dream Master, are we going to be more excellent ourselves? Just ourselves? More like the ideal of the samurai? And are we going to be more able to see the meaning being expressed to us specifically in our dreams? Get the most that bountiful gift of spiritual guidance. Bountiful. So much bounty. Full of bounty. That's what it means. So the dream maker must have a spiritual map within which to fix each of the soul's struggle. So we could also say, hey, by the way, maybe each of those stages of development, including the 4 or 5 other ones we mentioned, might have kinds of struggles unique to it. We talked about nihilists being black-pilled, or doomers, or giving up, feeling lonely and sad and disconnected. We talked about Professor Dave maybe being super rational and having good intentions, but if you're in 5, as a consequence of 4, just as knowledge or overflows into understanding, all of the parts, all of the things we're using to build this map of understanding are all primarily aspects of knowledge. So here is that reflection or the beauty within this spiritual map. As this unfolds into understanding, as knowledge unfolds, the paradigm that Emma and Sam want unfolds into understanding that Emma and Sam are using and could benefit by understanding what they're doing. So too, if you leave belief, you go a dualist. Atheist. Will that have its own struggles? Will believers have their own struggles? People trying to share understanding without getting banned by Emma on Twitch? Will they have their own struggles? Experiencing the brilliant light of being? Does that come with its own struggles? Is this the state free of struggles? Maybe, maybe not. The Buddhist ox herding pictures have a state of self and then a stage beyond that. So is there a kind of unique struggle, a struggle unique to recognizing the true nature of the self through the self logos inherently somehow? As the whole of seeing, hearing, and thinking right now? And God and one? Does it come with a struggle? Is that necessary in a unique kind of way to... So in other words, using the map of spiritual and cognitive development, states of mind, to affix you where you're at and recognize the unique kinds of struggles particular to you, your life, your personal beliefs, but also your cognitive stage or spiritual stage. Pretty neat! Pretty neat that it has all that. And it talks to you without even having to pay a subscription fee. Holy fuck. Pretty neat. And also neat that it's a model for what you are seeking to be, if it's providential, and that's what we're after, as our own way of functioning. I think it's neat. What do you think?
Imagine people changing their positions and improving for the better.
Hey, whoa. Checks out.
I thought so. So, the Dream Maker must have a spiritual map that we might be developing, within which to fix each soul struggle and to know what is needed to bring the real dreamer to realize the blocks they face. And what's needed for me and this terrible beef with Emma is to be permanently unbanned so I can bring them to the next stage, as is the function of the dialectician. Now, I don't even think they would look at chat, but, you know, if they did. At least for the people who are inclined to watch her show, maybe they can benefit from the things that I share. If she doesn't listen. She should, because...
I'm cute, like cutie pie.
That's part of it, but also because...
Making ice cream's a good and courageous thing.
Right. And this is the best ice cream that we had to make and the most courageous thing. That's where we are. The dreamer must have a spiritual map. And to affix the soul's struggle relative to where that stage on the map, it is most profound of knowledge, and it reaches as far as the boundary of experience, the top of experience, the top of two, the fullest flowering of two. Meaning there might even be stages of this. So for each of these, the highest positives of whole and part, maybe there is a stages of development of the enlightenment experience. Maybe they're even outlined in the ox-herding pictures. Is there a stages of development within understanding? In other words, stages of development through that hyparxis, love and logos, Aphrodite and Apollo, culminating in the hyparxis or the fullest flowering, which has its highest expression of the former, but the beginning of the next. So as you bring together whole and parts together in the highest positives, you see beauty, you see justice, you see goodness, you see the intelligibility. Are they stages? And what's the highest stage? Is there a unique kind of whole and part? Is there a kind of beauty where all of the parts fit together beautifully, as we're seeing with this map? Is there another kind of beauty? Hey, ever seen a girl who's so beautiful but it's nothing to do with her parts? Sounds dirty, but you know what I mean. Is there a kind of beauty present in certain people, certain rare people? There's a kind of beautiful whole, completely independent of parts. Is that a higher kind of thing? Could that be? These are the sorts of questions that we can take with us and ponder about and wonder about, because we're in the game that bangs the most and is the literal meaning of life. I laugh because isn't it neat? And this is why I must have Hassan Piker and Asmongold's followers. I must have them. I must.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Because we're all wizards, Harry. This is the quest of man. So says the book. Not my opinions. It's the archetype of the quest talked about in video games and books and films. It's the paradigm, it's the map. And hey, films and video games and animes and things, aren't they a kind of drama or mythology expressing a journey, character development? If so, then is the dream maker a master of movies or film or a master creator? Meaning, this understanding of the dream master that we are developing and what he must have is also the paradigm for anyone in any sort of art. Not just we as philosopher souls, or all souls really, but not just as souls in our way of being, but also in our creative arts. Isn't that neat? I think it's pretty awesome.
I find that very entertaining. Hey, whoa, whoa. Here we go. But I want to be clear, I'm not AI.
And I'm not AI too. I'm a real person.
Gooners.
I'm not a gooner.
Okay, go ahead.
Whore.
Hey, I'm not a whore.
Literally no one has ever experienced joy ever.
Until they find my channel. And on that note, how dumb. On that note, I hope you found something to be puzzled about. I hope that was fun. I hope that was entertaining. And if you stuck around, I appreciate it. Again, send your emails to your Congress people about how I need all of the followers on Twitch. And how I need to be permanently unbanned from the Majority Report. Thank you for watching. You can follow along on Twitch and YouTube, like and subscribe and stuff. There's a link to the Discord if you want to join and get a notification when we go live. There's a PDF that you can look at for the text, or you can buy the book. And if you want to donate to the channel, I do appreciate that heaps and heaps and heaps. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.